Awesome 106.9. Awesome radio. Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome. WBISLP 1069. Winterville, Ayden, Grifton, Southside, Greenville, North Carolina. Motivations with Glenn.
Good day, everyone. This is Awesome Radio, 106.9 FM, WBISLP, Winterville, Ayden, Grifton, Southside, Greenville, North Carolina. This is the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Messina. Joining us is Messina, and we have our special guest today, one of our nation's heroes, a United States Air Force veteran, as he continues to serve this nation, and in particular, this community, has been a substitute teacher in the Pitt County, North Carolina school system. I would like to make an announcement first after Messina introduces herself.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. It's so good to be back. I missed you all. I cannot wait for us to get into today's topic. And I'm just glad to be back with you guys.
Thank you so much. Hello, Pitt County. Awesome Radio, WBISLP 106.9 FM is hosting 2 nonpartisan candidate forums for candidates in the May 17th primary election. One, Thursday, April 21st, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The location is PCC, Pitt Community College, the Goals Building, 169 Bulldog Run, Reedy Brand Road, Winterville. All state, federal candidates have been invited. U.S. Senate, U.S. Congress, North Carolina Senate, and North Carolina House of Representatives. Number 2, April 23rd, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Location, Greenville City Hall, 200 West 5th Street, Greenville. All Greenville municipal candidates have been invited. Greenville City Council, Mayor, and Pitt County Board of Commissioners. Jot down your questions or concerns and send them to us. Admin, ADMIN, at WBISAwesomeRadio.org or inbox on Facebook. Stop by 2531 South Memorial Drive. That is the address of the station. Fill out a form on our website at WBISAwesomeRadio.org. Those were our announcement at the 2 candidate forums. Remember, jot down the dates. Thursday, April 21st, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and Saturday, April 23rd, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. And with that being said, with 7 minutes for this particular segment, I'd like to begin by introducing you to our nation's veteran who will introduce himself, Mr., or in my case, Comrade Jason Jacob, I'm sorry, Jacob Munson.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Glenn, for having me on your show today. I'm very excited. And as he said, yes, I'm an Air Force veteran. I served for 4 years, and now I'm a substitute teacher here in Pitt County, Greenville, North Carolina.
Congratulations. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
And if I could just share something briefly, little personal note. I believe it was 2 weeks ago that I first met you.
Mhm.
We were at a local restaurant.
That's right.
What caught my attention, not only were you wearing the Air Force cap, veteran cap, but really caught my attention. And I knew you were a veteran because of your posture, the way you got out of your car and was walking across the parking lot to enter the restaurant. I said, now that's a veteran. I could tell by his walk because you have that precise, that precision walk.
Mhm.
I did when we got inside the restaurant. I said, I know you're Air Force vet. And then we began our conversation.
That's right.
So I noticed that about you right away.
Yeah.
Kind of remind me of myself.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's drilled into us from day one. We learn how to march, we learn how to walk, carry ourselves with pride.
And if I could ask you, what was one of the reasons you joined the military?
Well, most of my family joined the Navy, so I have a strong family history of service to our country. My grandparents, my uncles, aunts, everybody. So they all, joined the Navy, and I'm the one rogue one that decided to go for the Air Force. But no, they all actually told me, secretly. So they told me that the Air Force was the better choice. You got better food, better barracks, better everything, quality of life. So they say, look, if we could have done it differently, we would have joined the Air Force. So I went ahead and took their advice and joined the Air Force.
And I know the requirements to enlist in the Air Force is rather different than any other branch because you have to score very high on your ASVAB test. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, at least a 50, which is pretty high. But it's doable. It's definitely doable.
I know it's doable. It just wasn't doable for me. But I know the Air Force requirements are very stringent, and you have to score very high, and that determines your MOS. Is that correct? Also,
Yes, that is correct. I personally got a 98, which is almost unheard of.
yeah.
I cheated, but nope.
So I know your MOS, and for those that don't know, MOS stands for Military Operations Specialty. Your job, that's your job that you do in the military. So that's your MOS. And since you scored a 98, I'm pretty sure your selection of MOS was very, very rewarding.
Exactly. I had the pick of the litter. So I went ahead and got the hardest one, which was military intelligence.
And I did some bio on you, and I saw that. So with that being said, before we go over to Messina, I'm going to issue a slight disclaimer. So during today's broadcast, it's because Mr. Munson is a veteran, and because of his military experience, there are certain things that cannot be discussed because of operational security. That's OPSEC in the military. So there's certain things that he cannot mention, and we will hold him up most respect for that. I'm going to give it over to Messina now if she has a question or comment.
Well, what made you want to become a substitute teacher, and what subject are you teaching?
Got it. Yeah, well, the past 2 years I've been teaching kindergarten, but in Memphis, Tennessee. That's where I got my accreditation and my licensure. I only recently moved here into. I only recently moved here in Greenville because of my parents. They moved down here, so I moved in January, and now I'm teaching all of Pitt County. So I can teach high school, middle school, or elementary school.
Oh, wonderful. And what grade are you interested? Are you interested in staying with the little ones, or you wanting to see how it feels to get with some of these teenagers?
Actually, yeah, I haven't had much experience in the high school and middle schools, but I found a middle school that I really like, and I'm hoping to teach there next year. So,
That'd be great.
yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and as we move on, before we go to the next segment, I want to ask you another question. But first, I want to thank you for your service to our nation, to our country.
Thank
And my next question, can you be recalled from inactive ready reserve back to active duty?
No, currently, because I have already served my 4 years of inactive ready reserve, um, I won't I won't be recalled. That is generally for the reservists. Um, there, so we have active duty and we have reservists, and then we have National Guard. National Guard is strictly for the state, but in times of emergencies, I'm sure they can be called upon for, you know, for national reasons. But I'm no longer in active reserve, so unless something seriously happens, I won't be recalled back.
Yeah, and one of the reasons why I asked that question is because when I was discharged honorably from service, and I was discharged from the National Guard, I was put on ready reserve. But I know since that time, then I'm not eligible to be recalled either. In addition to that, the selective service, I always kept up my selective service. But only recently, last year, as a matter of fact, I went to check my status and see if I was still registered with the selective service. And so I asked them to send me a copy of my registration, and they did. And then they sent a note with it, said I did no longer have to abide by the selective service agreement because of my age and the fact that I am an honorably discharged veteran.
That's right.
So we have 39 seconds before we go to the break, the first break. So I just want to say once again, we have one of our nation's heroes, Air Force veteran, who's continuing to serve as a substitute teacher. And I'll let Messina take us out to break in a moment. But I also want to mention I had the opportunity to meet 5 fabulous ladies en route to the station today when I stopped at a local restaurant. We have 10 seconds to go out. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep it locked right here to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivation with Glenn. This is Awesome Radio, 106.9 FM. Back in a moment.
My name is Jayla, and you're to see to my papa, Glenn Johnson, on the radio.
Will the next generation of Christians be able to meet the secular world head on? Will they be able to stand firm against secular arguments while introducing others to Christ? That's the serious subject our Creation Moments host, Paul Taylor, will be looking at today.
A Christian satirical website ran an article entitled Congregation Prays Graduating Senior Be Protected from Basic Secular Arguments They Never Bothered to Prepare Her For. As with so many articles on that site, it contains a great deal of truth, so much so that one doesn't know whether to laugh or cry at it. The fictional youth pastor addressed the high school graduate thus: "Your deeply held beliefs that you have never had questioned and are mostly professed out of obedience to your parents will be challenged like never before. We haven't prepared you for this onslaught, but we're going to remedy that right now with 60 seconds of ceremonial prayer." This raises the question of whether our young people really are prepared to meet the secular world. But how are they going to defend the faith? How many of them have been told not to worry about questions of dinosaurs and evolution, but just trust in Jesus? What apologetics training they have received has been in the form of decontextualized Bible verses, such as, "A day with the Lord is like 1,000 years." That latter verse, 2 Peter 3, verse 8, is actually the answer to why Jesus has not yet returned, but is often used to imply that there's nothing wrong with a Christian accepting that the days of Genesis are not real days. The implication is clear. If we are to continue to provide our young people with such poor apologetics, we leave them unprepared for life.
To discuss any topic related to the Bible and science with creationists like yourself, we invite you to join the Creation Moments group on Facebook. You'll also meet members of our staff there. So join us today to learn more about our wonderful Creator and His awesome creation.
Partial funding for this program is brought to you by Blessed Hands Car Wash and Detail Plus, 2016 Chestnut Street, Greenville. Vehicle inspections, U-Haul rentals, spick and span hand vehicle wash and detail. That's Blessed Hands, 252-413-0609. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Blessed Hands Car Wash and Detail Plus, 2016 Chestnut Street, Greenville, 252-413-0609. Thank you, Blessed Hands Car Wash and Detail Plus, for your support.
Thank you for listening to WBISLP 106.9 FM Awesome Radio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Messina. And once again, this is Awesome Radio 106.9 FM, WBISLP. Christian inspiration for the family and ministry teaching for practical Christian living. We are the healing station. I would now like to go to my co-host, Ms. Messina Lewis, and see if she has a question, comment, or what she has to offer at this time.
I find it just amazing your willingness to just be of service, serving in the military and serving this country and, becoming a veteran only to then turn around and to pour into the youth, which, as you know, with this generation, they need it. They need a lot of role models, good role models that are willing to give their time and just pour into them. And I just commend you for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And then a little while ago, I said he remind me of myself because I know he's a person that's willing to sacrifice and serve the nation and just to help people in general. Is that what you're all about, sir?
I mean, yes, I loved all my community service time in high school. I think it all started there. I would help, with Habitat for Humanity. I would help with my church youth group. We would go and help build houses for people that need them, things like that. It's rewarding, even if, just in yourself. It's so rewarding knowing that you're making a difference. And going into these schools, like some of the teachers would tell me, oh, that class, you gotta watch out for that class, you gotta watch out for these students, something like that. But when I go in there, I don't want to listen to that because to me, they're all, just students. My mom, she's actually, my parents both, they were foster parents for almost 20 years back in Maryland before they moved down here. And it's actually their anniversary today. So,
oh, happy anniversary, Mom and Dad.
They're gonna go to a nice restaurant tonight.
There's a lot of celebrations going on today. Your mom and dad's anniversary, that's right. And my birthday, ladies and gentlemen, I am 62 today.
Congratulations.
Happy birthday, Glenn.
Okay.
I know y'all looking at me. I know I got a baby face, but I'm not that young. As Mr. Munson said, he loved doing community service and helping out people. I participated in community service also. Mine was just court ordered. That was my only joke for today. It wasn't court order. I love serving the military. I'm a former law enforcement officer of New Jersey, state of New Jersey. Also a volunteer firefighter in the town of Neptune, New Jersey. So I know what it was like to also serve and to serve our community. Also, I'm a former member of the Jersey Coast chapter of the American Red Cross Disaster Services. So I've been out there and done it myself. But we're not here to talk about me today. We're here to talk about you, sir.
Thank you very much. Again, it's a pleasure to be here and just to shed a little light on joining the Air Force or any military branch. It is strict, and one thing that it becomes a barrier that some of the students don't know is they do look very, very strictly at your before you even become an adult. Like you just, if you have any suspensions, they're going to look into that. If you have any kind of background like that, that's very important. I thankfully didn't have any of that, but it's too easy nowadays to get in with the wrong crowd, just be in the wrong place at the wrong time. You don't do it to yourself. Stay busy, stay in the books, graduate, and you have a future ahead of you.
Yeah, because I know one thing in the military, like you just mentioned, and what they try to do or not try to do, they will do, is if they detect something, their job is to break you down as low as they can get you and to rebuild you. Mm-hmm. So they're building you from scratch so that you fit into what their plan is. So they will break you down to build you back up. It's a rebuilding, if you will. Mm-hmm. Messina.
My husband also describes it as that. He served 5 years in the Marine Corps, and that's exactly how he describes it, is breaking you down to build you back up. And, my uncle and my grandfather and many other members of my family also served, and they all describe it as that as well.
Yeah.
My uncle, I remember I was a teenager and I was considering joining the military, which I was unable to because one, I had a broken leg and I got hit by a car when I was young, so that restricted me, and I'm epileptic, so um, I wasn't able to join. But I remember asking his input about it, and he said that he felt like the military gave him structure. He was like, if you need discipline and you need, more structure, I think it's great for that. I think anybody really needs discipline and structure. And so he was like, you should definitely go for it. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that. But
Right.
I always have so much respect for anybody that joins and gives of their time. That's a huge commitment.
Yeah. We have approximately 3.5 minutes for this particular segment. I'm going to ask Comrade Munson if he can mention a little bit more about the requirements of becoming a member of the military, or in particular the Air Force.
Sure. Well, one of the things is the age requirement. You can't be older than 39 at this point. And that's to enlist or to become an officer. So let's say you have a good career, you're a doctor or something, and you decide later on you want to join. Well, you have to do it before your 39th birthday.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of, because it's rough. You have long hours. You have a lot of physical demands, mental demands, and that's why they put a heavy importance on being healthy, and not just healthy normally, but peak healthy, like no broken bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, things like, because it take a lot out of you. They demand a lot.
A lot, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know things change over the years. So, is there still a set form for how much time you can do in the military? Like, is there still 20 and out, or has that changed?
No, yeah, you can still a full a full service term is 4 years, and then you re-enlist every 4 years, up to a point, up to 10. After 10 years, that's pretty much, if you make it a 10, you're pretty much on your course to go all the way in full 20. And once you reach that 20, yes, you can leave, or many people stay. It's up to you.
And that's the word I was looking for. You just mentioned it. That's that full term, 4 years.
Yeah.
So you can do 4 years, then re-enlist.
Yep.
Every 4 years. But once you reach that 10, you're pretty much set.
That's it. That's the 10 is the halfway point, and you got to commit at that point.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wind down in another minute or two, and before we go to our third 10-minute segment. But when we come back, I want to go into, like we said, Comrade Munson is a substitute teacher. And so here in the United States, there's a new program that allows veterans to be substitute teachers. And I know Comrade Munson serves as a substitute teacher, but he went a different route to get his requirements met to become a substitute teacher. And that's what we'll talk about next. After this next break, we have 1 minute remaining, and I'll give that to Messina.
Well, I'm interested in hearing about this journey. I think it's wonderful that they have this program available to give veterans opportunities to do other things once they get out of the military. And I think it's important to see more programs like this. Maybe not even just being a substitute teacher, but other things, for veterans who have served the country and lived under the most extreme pressures you can think of, to get into jobs that are more enjoyable. I'm sure that the pressures are less with children. I'm gonna say, depends on what group of kids get, but I think it's a wonderful thing.
Because there are still some requirements you must meet before being a substitute teacher. So I think this all started in Mexico because there was a shortage of teachers because of the pandemic. So they needed substitute teachers. But keep it locked right here. We'll be back in a moment 106.9 FM.
This is Wendy Key. You're listening to Awesome Radio, 106.9 WBISLP.
Are all your prayers for your children private, or do you link arms with other moms? Hi, I'm Dana Gresh, founder of True Girl. We pray for our kids in the morning, while we're washing the dishes, while we're driving past their school, while we walk past their bedroom. We pray with our husbands. The praying doesn't seem to stop. But do you ever grab a trusted fellow mom and pray together for your kids? Having that vulnerability and trust with another mom can be so powerful and encouraging. I like how Ecclesiastes says a person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. If you're feeling discouraged about your child's choices, check out the Moms in Prayer Ministry. Find some other like-minded moms and start praying together. For more tips on how to raise your kids, go to danagresh.com.
Partial funding for this program is brought to you by The Insurance Gap, filling the gap of your insurance needs. 252-367-8359, providing services to individuals and families ages 0 to 85. We educate and provide options so you can make informed decisions. We're The Insurance Gap. 252-367-8359. Thank you, The Insurance Gap, for your support.
We're back. You're listening to The Glenn Johnson Show. You can reach Glenn at glennjohnsonshow@gmail.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for keeping it locked right here to The Glenn Johnson Show. Remember, if I'm not on your radio just isn't on. And that's just a little tidbit. Anyway, we're continuing our broadcast with one of our nation's heroes, a United States Air Force veteran that continues to serve by serving the community as a substitute teacher here in Pitt County, North Carolina. And with that being said, I would now like to go into what it takes to be a substitute teacher for someone as a veteran. And I'll give that over to Mr. Munson.
Thank you. So you still have the background check requirements. Can't have any criminals teaching our kids, and background check and drug test, and then they also require a bachelor's degree at least of any. It can be any field, but at least a bachelor's degree, and then up to date on all your immunizations and such. So that's the basic requirements. After that. And I went through a program called Teach for America. They did a lot more in-depth, and that was to become a certified teacher. And that's what I did in Memphis, Tennessee. We went through a whole summer's worth of training. We had different people, specialists, and we did a lot of hands-on during the summer school. So we got a lot of training just crammed into us right after graduating college. All of us were recent graduates. And then we learned how to do it, and just day one, all they wanted you to do was just be comfortable for day one, because after that, all the training, all the planning, it goes out the window.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
flexible.
Right.
Yeah.
And upon doing the research for this particular topic of discussion today, I came across a couple of documents. I'm going to share those documents with Calvin Boston Hill, so it'll be a continuation of his show about veterans serving as substitute teachers, and they're trying to make it nationwide to include law enforcement officers and school and nurses, so any profession like that. But like he said, there are some certain requirements that you must meet. So if we don't get it all covered on today's broadcast, I'm going to email Calvin Boston Hill the documents. He'll be sharing it on his program with Dr. J from the VA Medical Center. So, like I said, Mr. Jacob, one of those documents indicated over the span of time, they want to include the nation, to include law enforcement officers and things of that nature.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a certain kind of presence that students feel. They can gauge whether you're for real, if you're going to be able to handle them, or if you're not, right? And I believe that most law enforcement and military just have that naturally because of we were forged under fire, so we know what it's like to handle pressure and
Yeah,
20, 15-year-olds, they're not going to do it.
I know, and that's why they're saying even law enforcement officers could qualify
Yep.
if they have a bachelor's degree to substitute because of that interaction with people in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because in one of the documents, one of the gentlemen mentioned this would be better suitable than some classes being virtual because that allows students to still have that contact with a human being, which is more suitable than it just being online. So that interaction with another person would be beneficial to the student. Messina.
Not just, the interaction with another person, but the interaction with someone that knows how to present themselves with authority. A lot of the children of this generation, sadly, are missing a lot of structure, and missing that presence that, isn't going to, be a pushover, isn't going to allow them to stray too far, and so to have a presence of an individual who knows how to hold themselves with authority, who have been in positions to break people down and build them up, to be able to take that and apply it in a way that isn't as stressful and rigorous to children. I think it would be life changing. It could be a turning point for so many, and kind of getting this generation back on track. So I think it's great.
I think it's great too, particularly our veterans, because I know for a fact our veterans, and depending on the branch they serve and their MOS, could very, very suitable to be a substitute teacher or a teacher in general. And
Absolutely.
let me ask Comrade Munson this. So being a substitute teacher, would that allow you to eventually become a full-time regular teacher?
Yes, that's the other thing. To be every state has their own requirements and procedure to become a fully licensed teacher. But the one thing that is in common with all of them is you have to build up your hours. And so a lot of times while you're in school, if you're going that traditional route to become a teacher while you're learning that in school, you do your teaching during that time. But if you already have your bachelor's degree, you don't have any teaching hours, becoming a substitute would be the perfect way to do that. You can build up those hours and work towards that full licensure.
Now, my other question to you is this. So when you were discharged honorably from the Air Force, was that your goal to become a substitute teacher?
No, actually it was not. I didn't go straight into it thinking that's what I'm going to be doing. But I guess a little bit of my influence came from seeing the children that we fostered throughout the years and knowing just kind of how a lot of the times just having a steady and loving presence and person just makes a big difference. Like you said, like it's changing the generation.
Yeah.
It's difficult to find nowadays good teachers that and even in general, teachers in general, it's such a shortage, and the class sizes have to be large, and so there's not that much individualized attention because of that.
Okay, we have 2 minutes before we go to the next break. So I want to go back over our short announcement. Hello, Pitt County. Awesome Radio, WBISLP 106.9 FM is hosting 2 nonpartisan candidate forums for candidates in the May 17 primary election. First event, Thursday, April 21st, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The location, PCC, Pitt Community College, the Goals Building, 169er, Bulldog Run, Reedy Branch Road, Winterville. All state and federal candidates have been invited. U.S. Senate, U.S. Congress, North Carolina Senate, and North Carolina House of Representatives. Second location, Saturday, April 23rd, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. The location, Greenville City Hall, 200 West 5th Street, Greenville. All candidate municipal All Greenville municipal candidates have been invited. Greenville City Council, Mayor, and Pitt County Board of Commissioners. Jot down your questions, concerns, and send them to us here at admin@WBIS-awesomeradio.org. Let me repeat that. Send down your question or concerns or comments to admin@WBIS-awesomeradio.org. You can inbox on Facebook. Stop by 2531 South Memorial Drive. Fill out form on our website at WBIS-awesomeradio.org. With 1 minute remaining, I'm going to get that over to Miss Messina Lewis, and she'll lead us out to the break.
Well, everybody, it's really important to hear what these candidates have to say because it's our future. And we want to make sure that we get people in positions of power that is a person for all people and that finds the things that we all find important and has the passion, the desire to make a change and make a difference and put things onto a better path. So it's important to hear what these individuals have to say and ask your questions and allow your voice to be heard. So I think everybody should take part in that.
Yeah, and when we come back from the break, if I don't get it in now, I want to shed a little light on that as well, because I would like our residents to get involved with the community, get involved with your local government, find out who your representative is, and then most importantly, find out your demographics. And I'll explain why when we come back from this break, because we'll have 20 minutes remaining for today's broadcast. Keep it locked right here, ladies and gentlemen. WBIS-LP.
Keep it locked right here to the Glenn Johnson Show.
Partial funding for this program is brought to you by CT Cleaning Service, 919-345-5823. Nationally certified and bonded for COVID cleaning, commercial and residential, and for all general cleaning. CT Cleaning Service, 919-345-5823. Have a peace of mind that your place of worship, your office building, your home, and your place of work have been nationally certified COVID cleaned, disinfected, and sanitized. 919-345-5823. Thank you, CT Cleaning, for your support.
From the Pacific Justice Institute, this is The Legal Edge, defending your rights as a Christian, a parent, and a citizen. Here's Brad Dacus.
In a formal legal opinion, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton stressed his belief that performing certain sex change procedures on children is child abuse under Texas law. Now, these procedures have been shown to be extremely harmful, and in some cases, parents have no decision in the matter. Sadly enough, some parents have had their children taken away by Child Protective Services for not allowing their children to transition. Well, Pacific Justice Institute has counseled parents and defended their rights to decide what's best for their children. Learn more at pji.org.
PJI provides legal representation without charge. Get exclusive email updates by registering for The Legal Insider at pji.org.
This is Joy Brown, and I listen to Awesome Radio online at WBISawesome.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Messina. And as we were going out to the break, I was going to mention why I think our residents should get involved with your local government, knowing your demographics and knowing your representatives. Because one thing I want to mention is this. The reason why you should know your demographics and know what your representatives are doing to help you. Do you know they work for you, basically, so to speak. But knowing your demographics, here's a couple of situations. I know there's a couple of residents in a particular location that thinks that when they're paying Greenville utility, they're paying the city of Greenville. However, that is not the case. Greenville Utilities is not the city of Greenville. And when you pay your taxes for people that live in Winterville, that pay taxes, property taxes in Winterville and to the county, you're not paying the city of Greenville when you go to the county office building or taxation and pay your taxes. And it's just that the county taxation building is located in Greenville. So Greenville is the county seat, and the county seat means that is the where all the county offices are located. For instance, like our state seat is Raleigh, because all the state offices are in Raleigh. So our state seat is Raleigh. So that's what is meant by the seat of government is that particular municipality where the county or state offices are located. So when you're paying your property taxes for the county and you live in Winterville, you're not actually paying the city of Greenville. It's just the county office is located in Greenville. So I just want to clarify that for everybody, because I know there's some misconfusion, because I have heard this so many times over the years. And we have this 10-minute talk time that we're on. Then we'll be going to do our final 10-minute. So I want to go back to our nation's hero, my comrade, Mr. Jacob Munson, and see what he has further to offer.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it is very important to get out and vote and to know who you are voting for.
Exactly.
That is so important. Just as well as, just knowing in general what they're up to. You got to keep track of, the laws that they pass, what are they involved in, and know a little bit about each person that is running. So do your homework. An informed voter is a powerful voter.
That's right.
Yeah.
And what's that saying? I'm trying to think of it. Maybe Martina will help me out. No vote is almost as worse as no vote.
Yeah.
Is that the proper terminology?
It's a vote is better. A vote is better than no vote.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. And with social media these days, you guys, you can really look deep into just about anybody you want to look into and find out really what they're about and what they stand for. And it's important to do that. I think that we have to be more diligent about that in these days and time, about making sure that we're educating ourselves and we're doing a thorough research into the people that are running for these positions of power. Because as they say, with great power comes great responsibility. And you have to have somebody in there that's not only passionate about it, but doesn't want the position for power, but actually wants the position to make change and to make changes and to better the lives of all fairly, honestly. And to do that, we have to do our parts, because they only get those positions based off of our actions, and our voting or not voting sometimes is why people get in there that should not be. And so we just really have to take that seriously. We've been showing up and showing out the last 4-8 years. We've been doing better about getting out there and getting our votes in, and trying to make the best possible votes we can. And I think we just have to continue to do better about that, learn from mistakes and just do better.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because, anything we do now determines our future. And, we have to look and try to think of what we're going to need, or what's going to be taking place as we live today that's going to influence tomorrow, and how it's going to impact our younger generation as they develop and move into the future, because they'll be here for us. Because we might reach a point where we might need all of their help, might need their assistance. And let me rephrase that. Not might, we will.
Mm-hmm.
We will need their help in their future. And before I give it over to Mr. Munson, it's like I want our younger generation to start knowing what all these acronyms mean. These acronyms are these are little abbreviations for stuff. Like I asked one gentleman the other day, we were talking about FedEx versus UPS, and not to sponsor either one of those, but there's a difference between UPS and USPS. Mm-hmm. One is the United States Postal Service, and one is United Parcel Service. That is the difference. So United Parcel Service is UPS, And the USPS is United States Postal Service. FedEx is Federal Express. The one gentleman I was talking to didn't know that. He said, "What is that?" I said, "The FedEx means Federal Express." He did not know that. Also, with 3 minutes to go before I give it up, Mr. Munson, for our young drivers, I want you to remember this. If you're not sure of what to do when you're driving, maybe there's something you might have forgot. North Carolina Department of Transportation, North Carolina DMV, has a driver's handbook always ready for you at that location, because when you're approaching a traffic signal, when the light turns amber, that does not mean hurry up. That means prepare to stop. Mr. Munson.
Thank you. Yes. So my experience in the Air Force was definitely a great one. And it's taught me a lot about being quick on your feet, handling well under pressure, a lot of things that translated very well into being a teacher. And that's why I think that veterans they're just very valuable. They've been through a lot. They have a lot of experience. Only about 1%, I would say, right? Is it about 1% of the United States population are even veterans?
Yeah. Yeah.
So just on that note, I believe that being a teacher now, right now a substitute, but hopefully later, a full time, being a teacher just allows me to bank on those experiences and kind of instill into the students just how important responsibility is, ownership of your actions, right? It very simple, just the human quality traits that are going to take them far in life. If I catch you doing something, I don't want to hear the lies. I saw you. It's not going to do you any good.
That's right. You're caught.
Yeah. Just own up to it. Realize maybe I shouldn't have been doing that, and then just do better. That's what I tell my students all the time. Look, don't be I want you to be part of the solution, right? Not the problem. So if you are, taking care of yourself, if you're doing right, then I don't care what little Johnny, over there is going to be doing, because right now I want the majority of y'all to do better. Right. If it's 100%, it's 100%, but we can't always get 100%. Right. So, but we're going to reach them.
And for all those that's listening to who are students and might find themselves not at that 100% as of yet, you might consider yourself the lower of the totem pole. You might be on level 3. You might want to try to attain level 2 to reach level 1, that 100%. So whatever level you're on, you keep aiming for the top. Keep aiming for the next level. So if you're at the bottom of the level 3, you want to make it to that second level, which is level 2. You aim for that second level, and eventually you will achieve the top level, level 1. We have 30 seconds remaining. We're going to go out to the next break. When we return, we'll have our final 10-minute broadcast for today. But first, I want to give thanks to our veteran here today, Mr. Jacob Munson. I want to thank him once again for serving our nation in the United States Air Force, and continue to serve as a substitute teacher for the Pitt County, North Carolina school system. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep it locked right here to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Messina. We'll be back in a moment for the final 10 minutes. Back in a moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Did you hear about the man who was wounded in the war and his face was disfigured? He loved his wife and he hated for her to see what he had become. When he met her at the plane, she hugged him. He said, "Sweetheart, I'm so sorry." She laughed and said, "Honey, I love you. Frankly, you weren't that pretty before." If you're a Christian, you've tried to be good and you probably failed. I honestly want to look good for God, and I'm embarrassed when I don't. But he says, "I love you, child. Frankly, you never looked that good." It's unconditional love. Enjoy it. I'm Steve Brown. You think about that. Hey, I got a free booklet for you. It's called How to Believe. Just go to youthinkaboutthat.com.
My name is Jayla, and you're to see to my papa, Glenn Johnson, on the radio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Messina. This is our final 10 minutes for today's broadcast. So I just want to go back and mention a slight disclaimer that I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast. We are here with one of our nation's veterans that have served honorably and continue to serve as he serves our county of Pitt in the school system. But as I mentioned, there was things that we did not discuss concerning his military experience because of OPSEC. In the military, everybody know what that means, operational security. So there's things that he cannot discuss, and we honor that because we have to respect the military and we have to respect Mr. Munson. So if we didn't get to everything that you anticipated that we would get to, then we're sorry for that, but it's out of our hands. And with that being said, I'll give it back over to Mr. Munson.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Glenn. It is so important, to keep track of everything that we do, especially because you never know who just in general is, you never know. So my time in the military was definitely a great time. And I'm very proud of my service, proud of my family. And I'm just very happy to be here today. One thing I really try to do for my students and for just being a role model, they love to ask questions. They want to know everything about me. And I still do believe there's a fine line between being professional and being friendly. So they want to know a lot about what I used to do. And there's just questions you really shouldn't ask. And I'll just put this, you shouldn't ask military veterans, certain things like how many people you killed or where those you just shouldn't. So,
I know, yeah.
Yeah, I know they're curious, but just in general, I want, just a lot of people don't, they respect veterans, but they don't understand the line. Sometimes they see you in your uniform or wearing your hats, and they want to talk to you, but they just don't know how to do it. Well, I just want to share that we're humans, we're regular people. We have a little different job history than everyone else. Okay, so we really we're full of pride and honor in how we were able to serve our country and what we can do for our country. But in the end of the day, we are also just regular people. We have our families, we have our dreams. And if you approach us in that light and just we'll love to talk. We'll love to talk about everything. Just don't ask these kinds of questions that maybe we don't want to reflect on.
That's right.
So, yeah.
You want to bring up some old wounds.
Yeah.
Messina.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that I think, life is just about trying to be better and trying to do the best that we can in service to one another, not just to ourselves. And I think that you're displaying that by what you're doing. And I think that I think people are more inspired by our actions than what we say. And so I feel like when people are seeing how you serve the country and how you're now doing substitute teaching work, that your actions are speaking volumes about, just your heart. I think you have to have a big heart and a good spirit to be in positions of service. And to be in positions of service for long periods of time and back to back, you have to have the heart and the passion for it and the spirit for it. To do it, especially without any particular notoriety. I'm pretty sure that you didn't go into it and think, hey, I'm going to be on the radio talking about this one day. And right, but look at God, we end up in positions that we're meant to be in, and through following that, following that spirit and following that mind that says, I should do this, and doing it with the best of intentions. We never know where those journeys can take us and who we can affect and who we can inspire just by, doing what's on our heart.
That keyword inspiration, I agree. There's been so many students last year and the year before who, when you always ask, what do you want to be when you grow up, and you have the usuals, right? But a lot of them told me they want to be a teacher, and because of me. And that's just very inspiring to see that all I try to do is just my best, and sometimes that's all you need to do.
Yeah, that is so true. That's so true. I know when I was younger, my grandma used to talk about how she was a nurse and she worked in the medical field. And it was just like she always had the answers. Like she just always knew how to make you feel better when you weren't feeling that well, by all these old school remedies and things like that. And then it made me passionate about the medical field. And I ended up going in the medical field and working in various areas of the medical field because of that. Inspiration.
Absolutely. And these students, they just need someone to look up to, that's, if it's their parents, their teachers, or, professional basketball players, it can be anyone. And hopefully it takes, sometimes people say it takes a village to raise a child, right? And sometimes just us, just regular people, day to day, being good role models is all they need.
That's right.
All right, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. They told me to bring my phone in the station with me, but I bought it today because I know I was going to be getting text messages about my birthday. And with that being said, today is my 62nd birthday. In addition to that, it's a Comrade Munson's mom and dad's anniversary.
That's right.
You want to give them another shout out, sir?
26 years. Congratulations. Happy anniversary to your parents. That is no easy feat.
That is right. That is right. Thick and thin. That's correct. And they're going to enjoy a well-deserved evening to themselves tonight. And I'm so proud of them, all that they've done. They've been fostering children ever since me. And I was in the foster care system. I was adopted. All my siblings were also in the foster care system, and also adopted by my parents. I'm pretty sure that's where my heart of gold comes from, because they are just, like I said, they're inspiration to me. And so I just try to do my best to others as well.
What a great story. And once again, before we go off the air, I want to thank you again for your service. I want to thank you for the opportunity to share with us your experiences as a United States Air Force veteran and as a substitute teacher here in the Pitt County School District. So I want to thank you so much. And as I've indicated, we couldn't cover much about his military experience because of operational security. But as far as the veterans serving as a substitute teachers, which there's a nationwide thing going on for that. I'll forward these documents to Calvin Boston Hill. He'll be bringing it up on his show after we did a little bit more research, and he'll be showing it on his show with Dr. J. If you'd like to receive any of the documents that we have today, please email me at glennjohnsonshow@gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to forward them to you. Basina, we have 1 minute remaining.
Well, everybody, just remember, if you take away anything from this broadcast today, remember to just be you and move in the right heart and do good deeds. You never know who you're going to inspire. You never know who's watching you. You never know where following your heart and the spirit that tells you to move in this direction will take you and carry you, and what difference you're going to make in other people's lives. I would really strongly urge you to just listen to that voice that tells you to do those great deeds, because it's needed in the world, because you don't realize the effect that it will have on the other people that you come in contact with. You never know who's watching you, who's inspired by you, who's moved by you just being you. People are usually more inspired by our actions and how we carry ourselves and how we live than the things we say.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another broadcast of the Glenn Johnson Show, 106.9 FM.
Awesome radio. Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome. Can you feel it? Awesome, awesome, awesome. 106.9. Awesome radio. Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome, awesome. 106.9. Awesome radio.
WB